Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel Philosmos, where everything philosophical is discussed. Now today I'll be talking about the power of imagination. So let's get straight into it. So before we discuss the power of imagination, let's get down to the basics. Let's get down to the fundamentals. What is imagination? So allow me to provide you with my definition of what imagination is that I formulated actually quite recently. That imagination is basically a field of infinite potential. It's the land of abstraction, is what I've termed it, in which we can participate and engage in mental images and mental movies of potential realities that we would like to experience, or realities that we have experienced in the past, and realize why I'm saying the past, because the past is comprised of your memory, right? And your memory is filled with a lot of holes. That is because you cannot directly recall and remember the past exactly the way it transpired, exactly the way it happened. That is impossible. So with these holes in your memory, you then fill up with imagination. So anything that you don't recall in a certain instance, you'll fill that up with your imagination. So that already shows and demonstrates that your memory and imagination are actually married, and the future as well can be seen in that same sentiment. You can never experience the future, it can only exist in your imagination. Okay, so what we're doing, okay, as human beings, is that we are taking concepts from this infinite land of this field of infinite potential and land of abstraction, and we are coincidentally creating experiences with it. Now, the problem with our contemporary understanding of imagination is quite dualistic. Let me explain why I say that. So we have the term imagination and we have the term reality, and we do everything in our power to create distinctions from them. So everything in the conceivable world, right, guys, has distinct qualities and characteristics. Okay, so the best example I can use is like the mind and the body. So when we look at the mind, we can see characteristics that are unique to the mind, traits and characteristics that are unique to the mind, and we could look at the body as well, and we see characteristics and traits that are unique to the body as well. So when we look at them together, it appears as if they have differences, but upon deeper investigation, we realize that there's actually a shared kinship that imagination and reality both share. Think about this. Whatever you impress in your mind, whether you're impressing happiness, anger, sadness, joy, excitement, whatever it is that you impress in your mind, this will directly affect your body. You'll feel the physiological effects. You'll feel the sensation of happiness or anger or suffering, whatever it is that you impress in your mind. So there's a clear indication that the mind can cause an effect on the body. And conversely the same, the body can create an effect in the mind. Whenever the body's in physical pain, this obstructs and obscures the mind's purview of reality and fixates all its attention on that physical pain. So we can see just how interrelated these things are, because the mind is akin to imagination and the body is akin to reality. Because in materialism, which is the purview of reality that most of us share, that everything in the world is really physical, right? So your body is physical as well. So how is it that the mind, something that is intangible, something that is immaterial, that is non-physical, can directly affect something that is physical? So it shows that imagination and reality actually have a connection to which we are not necessarily aware of, but we see the relationship being caused in the world. So the great news here, the great news is that you have been gifted with imagination. You have full access and full range of usage to imagination. You can tap into this 24/7, 365 There is no limitation to what you can grab, what you can grasp, what you can entertain in this land of abstraction and this field of infinite potential. That is God's gift to you. Okay. So you can decide at any given moment to close your eyes, visualize and imagine the reality that you would like to experience. Okay. And this is what imagination does. Okay. And before I explain to you what it does, let me first give you a quote from Nikola Tesla, which will echo the sentiment very strongly. So Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secret of the universe, think in terms of vibration and frequency. So what do I mean by this? So each particular image and each particular mental movie that you could participate and engage in and pay attention to in your imagination has with it a particular frequency. So if, for example, I imagine myself being very rich and wealthy, right? That image, that imagination has a particular frequency behind it. If I imagine myself getting a new car, a new experience with that car, that has a particular vibration and a particular frequency behind it. So what imagination does is that it allows you to assume, okay, a particular frequency, and this then trickles down from imagination, from the mind to reality, to the physical body, and then the physical body then starts feeling those sensations. Whatever it is that you're imagining has a feeling, has a frequency behind it, and that frequency, that vibration is translated as an emotion. So the emotion will then tell if you're feeling happy about it, if you're feeling excited about it, then that is the highest frequency, that is the highest vibration that you took from this land of abstraction. Okay? And if it causes sadness, if it causes irritation, if it causes anger, then you're capturing the lower frequencies from the land of abstraction and infinite potential. So you have the ability to dictate what frequency your body operates in. And what this does is that once your body is operating at a particular frequency, since your body is continuous with this world, your physical body is continuous with this physical world, whatever effect is happening within your physical body has a ripple effect on the world. So when it is that when you adopt that frequency that has been carried within you, that you have gotten from your imagination. So let's just say you imagine yourself starting your own business, and you chronically hold this image. That's the important part. You have to chronically hold it, because your body will not instantaneously shift to that vibration chronically. It has to be introduced to it consistently. So once you hold that image, once you hold that imagination in your mind chronically, then it inevitably affects the behavior of your body. So you will then find yourself acting in that direction to actually start your own business, and you'll attract all the tools that you need, all the resources that you need. And even though you may come across obstacles, your imagination is always there to be used to maneuver yourself out of any obstacle that you may face. So that is God's gift to you. And when I say God, I do not mean God in the religious sense. I mean God as in the intelligence of the universe. And let me give you this other perspective. I think this perspective is actually very nice. So I believe that this physical universe is God's imagination. I mean, when you study neuroscience, you see the patterns of the neurological wires in the brain, right? And I'll demonstrate an image to you so that you can see. That shows that there's a bit of a link. So my understanding is that this world, this universe that we perceive is God's imagination, and you are the physical manifestation of God's imagination. So each manifestation of God's imagination has with it God's plan, God's template. Okay, so God's template is God's imagination. So you have access to God's template. And what's God's template? God's template is imagination. So the highest intention, the highest ideal, life, universe, God holds for you is held, is contained, is hidden in your imagination. And all you need to do is scour through your imagination, scour through this land of abstraction, scour through this land of infinite potential, and access the images and mental movies that creates the highest excitement. And once you do that, then that gives you an understanding as to God's plan for you, the universe's plan for you, nature's plan for you. Because nature, God, this intelligence is dreaming this world, is imagining this world to be. And the way it is doing that is by utilizing you as an individual organism, as a human being. You then tap into this God's templates, God's plan, and then you decide which experiences you would like to have. And remember this, when you decide to have these experiences, it coarsely affects everything around you. So that just shows you just how powerful your imagination is. It is your link to the intelligence that prevails this universe. It is your link to God. And once you access your imagination with intelligence, then you'll be able to access all the appropriate images and mental movies that you need to. Because imagination, just like God, because I explained in the previous video, not the previous video, sorry, one of the 4 laws of existence, and one of the laws were the law of unconditionality, in which God, the universe, nature, has no sense, has no understanding of morality. It doesn't understand what you perceive to be good and what you perceive to be bad. It's totally neutral. So imagination is totally neutral as well. You can use imagination to your own detriment if you're not careful. You can actually access God's template and use God's template, use God's plan, use God's imagination to send your life in a negative spiral. You can actually do that because God does not give you a range of, you only have access to good imagination and negates the bad. You have access to good imagination and bad imagination, and you can decide which facet you want to use. So just to wrap it up, guys, I just would like to echo the fact that imagination and reality share a relationship. So if ever you want to affect your reality, change your conception of it. Okay, that is a secret that most people do not really truly understand. When you want to affect your reality, when you want to change your reality, do not look to change the reality physically. Do not look into the reality and try alter it. Go back into your imagination, your link to God. Tamper with that, manipulate that, alter that, and you will see your world will reflect that change because you've changed your conception about it. Remember, reality is non-existent without its link with imagination. So once you understand this, then your life will transform. So guys, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. And to end it off, as I always end it off, for those who seek no more, for in the present we find it all. Thank you very much, guys.